Hello everyone, it's day 44 and today I have April 16 newspaper 2024 Indian Express editorial page. So you must be wondering that this is not a different day, but since I am wearing the same t-shirt, but it's a different day. So coming on to the newspaper reading, this article, important article, is on the editorial page, that is page number 10, April 16, 2024. So this is about the Iran and the Israel conflict that is recently going on in the Middle Eastern region. So Iran has attacked Israel from its territory. So this article is talking about that how and when and what will be the retaliation of the Israel towards Iran. So let's see this article, what is it is saying. So this article is saying that Netanyahu is unlikely to let Iranian attack pass. Not responding will be admission of Israeli weakness, obviously. So the magnitude of missile attack on the Israel by Iran in the early hours of the Sunday was unprecedented, even by the Middle East standards. The Islamic Republic fired over 300 long-range projectiles, including drones and ballistic missiles, at the Jewish state. In recent years, similar missile and rocket attacks have been carried out by the militant groups such as Hamas and Hezbollah. This is the first time Israel has faced a direct missile attack from a state since the Iraqi skirts in January 1991. The unprecedented volley of long range projectiles from Iran was supposed to be a response to the killing of Mohammad Reza Zahedi, a senior Quds commander of the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps in Damascus on April 1. There were disputes over the exact structure which Israel supposedly attacked, whether the building was within the Iranian embassy in Damascus, as Tehran claims, or outside the compound, as Western critics have argued. Even before the long-range projectiles reached Israel, the Iranian missile in New York invoked the rights under Article 51 of the UN Charter and declared that Tehran does not seek escalation. As President Joe Biden pointed out, the physical damage of the missile attack was minimal as the Israeli defensive mechanism was successful in intercepting them. Israeli officials uh, proudly declared that they were able to intercept 99% of the Iranian missiles. A 7-year-old Bedouin girl was injured in the Negev by shrapnel, and an air base in the south suffered minor damages. In the immediate sense, Israel has won the missile attack, and in the words of President Biden, Israel demonstrated a remarkable capacity to defend against and defeat even unprecedented attacks. Anticipating the Israeli response, Iran was quick to declare that missile attacks were in response to the attacks on its mission in Syria, and that it wished to close the matter. So at the same time, it also warned that in case of any further provocation by Israel, Iran's response would assuredly and decisively be stronger and more resolute. Several states, led by the US, expressed their anguish over the attack and condemned it. At the same time, they were urging Israel to be measured in its response and avoid escalation. Israel has been extremely sensitive about its security, especially of the homeland. Despite frequent bouts of violence, Israel proper has been free from the enemy attack. This changed in the 1980s when the non-state actors like Hezbollah and Hamas entered the scene. Since then, Israel proper, not the occupied territories, has become the main battleground. Moreover, October 1973 was Israel's last war with an enemy state. Conflicts during the past 5 decades have been with the militant non-state actors. Though Iraq fired 42 skirts in January 1991 during the US-led campaigns for the liberation of Kuwait, the physical damage and military consequences were limited. The overwhelming American military campaign against Iraq prevented Israel from responding to these attacks. There were, however, murmurs that the Scud attack undermined the Israeli deterrence. This time is different. Though the physical damage was limited, the Iranian attacks have crossed a significant red line. They signaled the failure of Israeli deterrence. The Iran could attack the Israeli mainland indicates not only the logistical capabilities of the Iran arsenal but also its political determination to challenge Israeli deterrence. It also signals Iranian readiness to face a possible Israeli response. The unprecedented attacks could be a precursor to similar and larger attacks. The Iranian offense would also steer similar military responses from other adversaries of Israel as and when they develop sufficient military capabilities. Not responding to Iranian attacks will be an admission of Israeli weakness, both militarily and politically. Thus, no leader, democratic or authoritarian, could accept the barrage of over 300 missiles and be content with the public sentiments of the condemnation. Political inaction is suicidal even for authoritarian rulers. If the past is an indication, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will respond to the Iranian missile attacks. Netanyahu, not known for using diplomatic options, will respond sooner than later. A symbolic response will be inadequate both politically and militarily. Several allies of Israel are unable and unwilling to join hands with an offensive Israeli response. Already, President Biden declared that the US will not be a party to any aggressive response to the Iranian attacks. Hence, Israel will have to act alone and without any support from its allies. Direct military action has proved to be ineffective in the Gaza Strip, and the cost of an aggressive strategy will be higher vis a vis Iran. Distance and Iranian defense minimize that possibility of direct Israeli attack against the Iran's military installations. Thus, Israel might settle for its tested strategy of targeting key personnel, military as well as political, in the Iranian establishment. Attacking Iranian figures in the third country like Syria and Lebanon might be easier, but their propaganda utility is limited. Both to maximize the effects and reestablish a modicum of deterrence, Israel will act inside Iran as it did against key nuclear scientists in recent years. However, the outcome of such a robust Israeli response is uncertain, probably worse and even be counterproductive. But one thing is certain: Bibi will and respond forcefully to the Iranian missile attack. So let's see what kind of Israel is going to give to Iran. So till then, let us see the Tamil Nadu's decentralized industrial model. What this article is going to say. This is on the page number 13, explained page. So the state's cluster capitalists and entrepreneurs from below explain in part its success in achieving industrialization and diversification beyond agriculture. So, Tamil Nadu, which votes on April 19, is India's number one state in terms of economic complexity measured by the diversity of its gross domestic product and employment profile. The tables show that, that the farm sector share in Tamil Nadu's GVA and in its employed labor force is well below the national average. Lower dependence on agriculture is matched by higher shares of industry, services, and construction in Tamil Nadu's economy relative to all India. Gujarat is more industrialized than Tamil Nadu, with the factory sector generating 43.4% of the state's GVA and engaging 24.6% of its workforce, as against 22.7% and 17.9% respectively in Tamil Nadu. But in Gujarat, agriculture accounts for a higher share of GVA, that is 15.9%, and workforce 41.8% than in Tamil Nadu, 12.6% and 28.9% respectively. That makes its economy less diversified and balanced vis-a-vis Tamil Nadu's. Another indicator of economic complexity is agriculture itself. About 45.3% of Tamil Nadu's farm GVA comes from the livestock subsector, the highest for any state and well above the 30.2% all India average. Tamil Nadu has India's largest private sector, private dairy company, that is Hastun Agro Product, broiler enterprise Saguna Foods, and egg processor SKM Group, as well as the country's egg capital, that is Namakkal. Cluster based industrialization. So, what is cluster based industrialization? Tamil Nadu has just a handful of large business houses with annual revenues excess of rupees 15,000 crore. TVS, Murugappa, MRF, Amalgamation, and Apollo Hospitals in the turnover. They are not in the league of Tata, Reliance, Aditya Birla, Adani, Mahindra, JSW, Vedanta, Bharti, Infosys, SCL, or Wipro. The economic transformation of Tamil Nadu has been brought about by the medium scale businesses with turnover between rupees 100 crore and 5,000 crore. Some like Hudson and Suguna have graduated to rupees 5,000 to 10,000 crore bracket. Its industrialization has also been more spread out and decentralized via the development of clusters. Some of these clusters, agglomerations of firms specializing in particular industries, are well known. Tirupur for cotton knitwear, export of rupees 34,350 crore and domestic sales of rupees 27,000 crore in 2022-23. Coimbatore for spinning mills and engineering goods, from casting, texting machinery and auto components to pump sets and wet grinder. Sivakasi is for safety matches, firecrackers and printing. Salem, Erode, Karur, and Somanur for power looms and home textile. Vayambinadi, Ambur, and Ranipet for leather. Many cluster towns are hubs for multiple industries. Thus, Karur has power looms, bus bodybuilders, and even makers of mosquito and fishing nets, one of them VKA Polymer. And so, Dindigul has spinning mills and leather. So, this article is talking about where the industry is located. So, So let us see another important article if there is any. So Andaman and Nicobar Island, the strategic advantage of Andaman and Nicobar Island has been given in this case, which I think we have already covered in very much detail about the strategic location and its advantages, and what is importance of Andaman and Nicobar for India and the Indo-Pacific region. So the important article which is on the explain page, how 2000 senior women for Switzerland won a landmark climate case. So let us see what this article is arguing. 3 days after a three-judge bench led by the Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud, said people have a right to be free from adverse effects of climate change, Europe's highest human rights court on April 9 sided with a group of 2000 senior Swiss women who had sued their government for violating their human rights by failing to do enough to combat the adverse effects of climate change. The landmark ruling, which is the first of its kind by the European Court of Human Rights, have paved the way for future plaintiffs to sue their governments for better climate protections. So, what was the case in Europe? The case was brought against Switzerland by Klima Senioren Squeeze, Association of Senior Women for Climate Protection Switzerland, a group of women climate activists, all above the age of 64 in November 2016. The women claimed that the Swiss government's inadequate climate policies violated their right to life and other guarantees under the European Convention on Human Rights. The convention is an international agreement to protect human rights and political freedoms in Europe. The petitioners built their case by partly relying on their medical vulnerability as senior citizens to extreme heat caused by the climate change. They cited the reports by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, a UN body that assesses the science related to climate change. The reports show that the senior Swiss women, especially those over 75, are more prone to heat-related medical problems such as the heat cramps and heat strokes. So, what did the court say? A 17-judge panel of ECHR noted that Article 8 of the convention encompasses a right for individuals to effective protection by the state authorities from the serious adverse effects of the climate change on their lives, health, well being, and quality of life. The Swiss government, however, violated the law as it did not enact adequate laws to combat climate change impacts, according to the court. It also failed to meet its greenhouse gas emission reduction goals. So, why is the ruling significant? The Swiss government is now obliged to update its climate change policies. However, the ECHR cannot tell authorities what kind of policies to implement. So, nonetheless, the judgment could have far reaching implications. The ECHR's verdict is applicable in 46 member states, including all of the EU plus the UK and the various other non EU countries. This means that that any climate and human rights case brought before a judge in Europe's national court will now have to consider ECHR's judgment in whatever decision they make. It may also encourage citizens and communities to file similar cases in countries that are a party to the European Convention on Human Rights. The decisions affirm that the European human rights law requires governments to pursue a high level of climate ambition. Michael Berger, executive director of the Sabin Center for Climate Change Law at Columbia University, told VOX. So, what about other climate litigation? So, there is a recent rising tide of the climate litigation, a form of legal action that is being used to hold countries and companies accountable for their climate mitigation efforts and historical contribution to climate change in many countries. As of December 2022, 2,180 climate related cases have been filed in 65 jurisdictions, including international and regional courts, tribunal, quasi judicial bodies, or other adjudicatory bodies across the world. According to the Global Climate Litigation Report 2023 Status Review, this is the large increase from 884 cases in 2017 and 1,550 cases in 2020. In India, a 9-year-old girl from Uttarakhand approached the National Green Tribunal in 2017, arguing that the public trust doctrine, India's commitments under the Paris Agreement, and India's existing environmental laws and climate related policies oblige greater action to mitigate climate change. Her petition, however, was rejected. So this was about the climate related cases. So that's all from today's newspaper. So this was the important articles from today's newspaper. We'll try to cover few more important articles from tomorrow's newspaper. Till then,